Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. Today, we're going to take a look at the discography and rank the albums of the derektrucks band. Of course, derektrucks, the great guitar player who got his start in the around mid-90s or so as a young hotshot guitar player on the scene. Formed his own band, eventually joined the Allman Brothers band, played in the Allmans for quite a while. Now, currently, he is in the Tedeschi Trucks band, along with his wife, Susan Tedeschi. But we're going to be looking at the albums of the now defunct derektrucks band, who had 6 very, very cool albums that I think are worthy of discussing. I like these quite a bit, and I'm a big fan of his guitar playing. In fact, as we'll kind of talk a little bit about during the video, I kind of miss this band. As much as I really like the Tedeschi Trucks band, I kind of really miss Derek's band, right, a bit, and we'll kind of talk about why. So, like I said, we've got 6 albums in total, and I'm going to rank them in the order that I like them, and hopefully you guys can do the same in the comments below. And if you have never taken the dive into the music of the derektrucks band, perhaps this will give you some good information to go ahead and make some decisions on which albums to go investigate. Of course, derektrucks, great guitar player. He's most notably known as one of the great slide players, not just of today, but God, and I would say slide guitar history, right? Of course, a huge fan of Duane Allman, the original founding member of the Allman Brothers band, also who's considered one of the greatest slide players of all time. He's also quite friendly because they played together in the same band for a while. Good friends with Warren Haynes, also a really good slide player. But slide guitar notwithstanding, Derek is also a really, really talented just guitar player in general. Him on his trusty Gibson SG. He's can play the blues, can play rock, he plays jazz, so he can kind of do it all. He's a really, really talented guy. And this is a really, really cool band with some very different sounding albums. So we'll start with my number 6. We're going to go to 2006. The 5th album from this band, it's called Songlines. All right. There we go right there. So this is the first album with the band as an extended sextet, right? So here you have a guy named Mike Madison joining in as lead vocalist, because there's vocals on all of these albums for the most part, but some are more instrumental than others. But here Derek decided to bring in a full-time singer, and this guy Mike Madison, really, really strong singer. Really strong singer. And this album here, a little bit different. The last couple of albums had saw lots of different elements coming into the band. This is blending like southern rock and blues and world fusion, jam band type stuff, right? You got some really interesting songs on here. You got Sahib Teri Bandi / Maki Madni. Hope I say all that right. It's a cover of a Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan composition. Killer Middle Eastern world and jazz vibes. Amazing guitar playing. You have the hook-laden blues of Crow Jane, sorry. That's another really strong song. You got this really great emotional instrumental called So Close, So Far Away. You got the more kind of gritty blues rock of All I Can Do. To me, you got Mr. Madison. His voice sounds like a combination of like Chris Cornell and Richie Kotzen. Really, really strong, bluesy, sultry voice. Really like his singing style quite a bit. Other good stuff on here. You got I'll Find My Way. That's really groovy. That should have been a hit. You listen to that song now today and you're like, God, how is that not like all over the radio back in 2006? What a chorus on that. Really, really strong. This chorus on that particular track. You got Revolution. It's more of a straight rock song. I like that. Another good chorus. Sizzling, slide guitar from Derek all over that one. This Sky is more of a kind of like a jazzy pop song. I like that quite a bit. Nice melodies on that. I'd Rather Be Blind, more of like funk, right? Actually, the song is really long. It's like, I'd rather be blind, crippled, and crazy, right? You got Sailing On, which has, again, nice grooves going on there, and you get the really cool instrumental Mahoan, something like that, which is kind of like part West Montgomery, little bit of Afro jazz, a little bit of surf. Really cool song from Derek. Really like that a lot. Really diverse album. Some songs I feel just really should have been pushed to the moon and made singles, and the record label should have just tried to get some of this stuff played on the radio. Because you listen to some of this album and you think, wow, it's like that doesn't sound all that much different with other artists like Dave Matthews Band and whatnot that were getting huge play. And here you have, this band who were just kind of, had their little core audience, but not really making any waves. It's kind of sad because I think there's a lot of stuff on this album and the one I'm going to talk about next that could have been, pretty big for them. But yeah, all in all, really strong album. There's no stickers in this catalog at all. Kind of pains me to put any down towards the bottom, but Songlines is my number 6. Good stuff. Good stuff. Number 5 from 2009, the 6th and final album from the band, which is Already Free. And again, really great vocals from Mike Madison. All right, they do a killer take on a Bob Dylan song called Down in the Flood, which kicks off the album. That's really good. Can't say I've ever heard the Dylan version of it, but these guys make it really rocks, right? Really cool. Nice mix of like acoustic guitar and searing slide guitar from Derek. Really, really good stuff. You get kind of like, what do you call it? I always call it like Southern fried soul, right? And Derek Trucks Band does that. I mean, the Tedeschi Trucks Band does that quite well too, but on these two albums here that I'm talking about first, there is a lot of soulful stuff here. Make You Happy. Really good song. Or Something to Make You Happy. Got a lot of long titles on these. But yeah, it's very soulful, but it's totally Southern sounding. You get funky roots rock of Maybe This Time, which has Doyle Bramhall II on guitar and vocals. He pops up a couple times on this album. There's a lot of guests on this album. Susan Tedeschi, his wife, sings with Madison on the catchy Sweet Inspiration. You got kind of like swampy Southern rock of Don't Miss Me. You get more of a kind of like shuffling blues with some scorching slide guitar on Get What You Deserve. I really like that song a lot. That's another one that should have been a hit. It's just, man, it's got great groove, great rhythm, great chorus, awesome stuff. Might be the hottest song on the album for me. Really love that a lot. You got kind of bluesy pop of Our Love. Bram Hall II shows up back on that one again. You get some really simmering slide guitar on Don't Bother Me, which also features Susan, again, on vocals alongside Madison. They prove to be a really nice combo on here. You get more kind of like sing-along bluesy pop of Days Is Almost Gone. And that is a really nice, almost kind of gospel-y song. And man, Mike Madison just kills it on that one on the vocals. It's such a great singer. I don't even know what he's doing today, but one of the things that I think really kind of upset me when Tedeschi Trucks came about is like, he kind of got like lost in the shuffle. So, but man, what a great singer. Great singer. Let's see. We got Susan, again, showing up, singing lead vocals and on the acoustic blues of Back Where I Started. I Know is kind of catchy, really soulful, good, tasty guitar licks and Hammond organ. Title track is also really good. I find this album, it's not really a Guitar Hero album. And even though there's plenty of guitar on here, but, really on this album, and again, this was the final album, you can really see where the seeds of the Tedeschi Trucks Band came from. Because this album kind of is the framework where that band would go into. But lots of really memorable, catchy Southern rock, blues, and pop here. Great vocals, tasty guitars. As much as I really, really like Tedeschi Trucks Band, I kind of miss this a little bit. But maybe that's just me. All right, let's move on to number 4. The third studio album from 2002. It's called Joyful Noise. As you can see, smaller band, right? 4-piece here. Okay, this is the first album with Kofi Burbridge. Cool mix of Southern rock. Definitely lots of funk on here. Lots of jammy type stuff on here. There's blues, there's jazz, there's fusion. Rootsy world music, a little bit of everything. I think I've read all sorts of places when talking about the Derek Trucks Band is that maybe one of the reasons why this band never got bigger is because stylistically, they never fit into any bucket. Like, their albums and their music was so diverse. There's so much different stuff going on, so many different elements to their music that people just couldn't kind of grasp where it is all coming from. And that could very well be the case. But it doesn't mean that this stuff isn't really, really good. The opening title track totally brings the funk. Roaring slide guitar, tasty organ, great stuff. You got the groove laden So Close, So Far Away. Really gutsy blues on this album too. You get Home in Your Heart. Really good vocal from a guy named Solomon Burke. Okay, you get funky, jammy Latin jazz on Camale, which has Ruben Blades on vocals. So if you like kind of Santana of the more modern era, that's what that. Hey, Ruben Blades, got a legend to sing on the album, right? Got some good guitar soloing and flute on Like Anyone Else. Every Good Boy is another really good one here. Groovy, funky fusion. Susan Tedeschi shows up on this album as well. She does a really good vocal on the upbeat blues of Baby You're Right. You have a song called Lookout 31, which is a scorching jazz fusion song. And it was written by Ko-Fi, who really, I thought, brought the jazzy influence to this band, which I really liked a lot. And then you get the closer, which is called Frizzell, all right, which probably seems to be, and I'm sure it is, a homage to the great guitar player Bill Frisell. Really nicely done jazzy piece. I think it's a really eclectic, diverse album, and a really strong one. So that is Joyful Noise. Coming in at number 4. From there, going to go to 1997 for the debut album, the Derek Trucks Band. Look at how young he was there. I think he was 17, I think, when this album came out, in 97, something like that. Youngster. Right. I actually saw him on this tour opening up for Government Mule in New York City at Irving Plaza, and I remember I never even heard of him at the time, but of course I knew, Trucks. I said, oh, he's Butch's nephew. It's like, yeah. So, but yeah, impressed me then. Very impressive album here. Mostly all instrumental, right? And it's mostly jazz and blues covers with a couple of originals. So mostly cover tracks. Done really well, right? And the guitar playing is damn impressive. But again, it's kind of sitting where it's at in the catalog for me. More on my being impressed with his guitar skills and the arranging. But, because it's so many covers, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm not ranking it any higher because I like their all original stuff. I just really, really like a lot. But does a great job on a lot of this stuff. So you got John Coltrane's Mr. PC done really well. I think Derek's guitar lines really help capture the spirit of the song. Same thing on 55 Lake. That's an original blues rock piece that they did. That's got vocal on. I think it's the only track with vocals, if I remember correctly, on here. Really nicely well done. Good, catchy, gritty blues rock. I think foreshadows some stuff that he would do later on, which is kind of neat. D minor blues is really good. You got a really nice version of the Wayne Shorter classic Footprints. It's really nicely done. I love the fact on this album that he wasn't afraid to go and do some updated versions of jazz standards and jazz classics. I thought that was really, really cool. Another Coltrane, got Coltrane's Naima, all right? Nice slide guitar all over that one as well. So we got two double dip into Coltrane's classics. You got Miles Davis's So What, all right? It's a song that everybody's played at some point. It's a total jazz standard. Really good here. Really like it. Really good stuff. Love it. You have another original piece which is called Evil Clown. That's a good one. Mixes jazz, rock, and blues. A lot of great guitar licks on that one. You got Egg 15, another original song. All right. Kind of weird, eerie, creepy organ sounds and busy drumming. And then, Derek does the whole vamping and lays down a scorching slide guitar solo. Really good stuff. That song sounds to me like classic Allman Brothers. That's a really, really cool song. Egg 15. Egg, like egg. Crack an egg. Egg 15. Lots of impressive stuff on here. It's a shame there are so many covers, but again, the covers are really, really well done. So here, this signaled a guitar phenom has arrived on the scene. And I really like this a lot. This is really strong. I just didn't rank it higher because I find the other two, to me, just a little bit stronger, compositionally speaking, original stuff, all that kind of thing. But yeah, I wouldn't, it wouldn't surprise me if many people pick this as their favorite, just because this is just loads of guitar on here. And, but yeah, it's my number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go with their 4th studio album, Serenade from 2003. Technically, though, this was their 3rd album, as they actually recorded this before Joyful Noise, but it kind of got held up legally for some reason, and it didn't get released till after that album. So it's their 4th studio release, but 3rd recorded album, if that makes any sense. Again, it's mostly instrumental, which is really cool. There's some really great stuff on here. You got Soul Serenade / Rastaman Chant, has some of the sweetest slide guitar you will ever hear, and the song is really quite jazzy in nature. This album is very jazzy, really good for all you jazz rock and jazz fusion fans. I think this is probably the album to check out. Love the flute from Kofi Burbridge on this, all over this album. Really, really nicely done. Bach to Bach, also straight jazz, right? Punctuated by Derek's stabbing, like Wes Montgomery style guitar lines and slide. More flute, great. Greg Allman adds his great bluesy vocals to Drown in My Own Tears. Another really good vehicle, not just for Greg's great vocals, right, but also for some scorching slide guitar. Right, awesome stuff. I believe that is the only vocal track on the album, if I remember correctly. What else we got here? We got Killer Grooves on the Mongo Santa Maria song Afro Blue. All right, and another great slide guitar solo on that one. Elvin, another song filled with just absolutely mesmerizing lead and slide guitar. Really bluesy, really jazzy. You get another Wayne Shorter cover, right? Oriental folk songs, given royal treatment. Really dig that a lot. You have a really nice jazzy acoustic centered piece called Sierra Leone, which is really, really nice. Overall, I think this is a really magical album. When I listen to this album, Soul Serenade, the images in my head pop up like Allman Brothers Band jamming with the Pat Metheny Group. If that sounds at all intriguing, this is the album you need to hear. The arrangements are loose, yet they're kind of tight at the same time, right? Everyone gets to shine, the whole band gets to do their thing, and they certainly show that they can play in more of this kind of like jazz realm as well as blues and rock. And Derek, I think, is absolutely outstanding here. This would be I almost had this as my number 1. I really like this one a lot, but my number 1, I think, is just a little bit more special for certain few things, which I'll get to right now. Out of the Madness. 2nd album, 1998. You got some really impressive guests on this album. So, of course, Mr. Warren Haynes guest on vocals and guitar on a few tracks. He shows up for their cover of Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, which just rips. He's also on their take on 44. They do a scorching song called Kickin' Bach, complete with just monster soloing from Derek. Look How Pie Pie is a funky, groovy monster romp. Just love it. You got a song called All Right, which rocks hard. Great vocal from a guy named Larry McCrae. Never heard him before. He's really good. And on that song, Derek is trading licks with the great Jimmy Herring, right, from Aquarium Rescue Unit. Jimmy Herring, tremendous guitar player, right? That's kick-ass. Pleasant Gardens, kind of a mix of jazz, fusion, and jam with some roaring slide guitar from Derek and just blistering straight lead guitar from Jimmy Herring. You got a song called Preaching Blues, which is just smoldering with gritty blues rock riffs and slide guitar. And then you have a song called Yunk Funk. Instead of Young Funk, Yunk Funk. Might be the hottest track here. Another blazing song featuring Trucks and Herring trading licks back and forth. Just smoking stuff. This is a red hot album. I think, again, all of these albums are really, really strong. But to me, these two kind of rise above for me a little bit. I like this one because it's I like the jazziness of this album, and I like the fact that they did a mostly all instrumental album, and this one is just a roaring and rocking blues rock album with some of the other elements as well. So to me, these are the two really outstanding albums. This one is it's so impressive because it's at 17 years old. It's just amazing what he was able to do so early. A lot of covers, if you don't mind that one's really great. And then you have these three, which are the more eclectic and diverse albums for sure. And to me, this one kind of is like the bridge that kind of gaps to these. And these two are the more commercial albums, and again, very diverse, but man, there's such potential in this band that you listen to these two albums and you're like, God, why was this band not huge, right? So there you have it. I also want to mention too, because to really appreciate a band like this, you have to either listen to live recordings or go see them live. And there's Road Songs and Live at the Georgia Theater, and these are just amazing. Amazing. And so this one here, Road Songs, basically features the group, the lineup of Derek Trucks, Todd Smalley, Enrico Scott, Kofi Burbridge, Mike Madison, and Count Matubu. All right, also with Mace Hibbard, Paul Garrett, and Kevin Hyde on horns. Right, killer double disc set. And then you have both these double disc sets. And then on this one, this is from 2003, you get Derek Trucks, Todd Smalley, Enrico Scott, Kofi Burbridge, Mike Madison, and Count Mobutu. Just those guys there. So great stuff. Great stuff. So so that is my ranking of the Derek Trucks Band. If you are a fan, rank them in the order that you like them down in the comments below. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, we've got the links to our Ko-Fi page below for channel donations as well as our merch page. So thanks in advance for all that. And hopefully you've got some places to go investigate in this catalog. And of course, I'm holding some of them upside down. How did that happen? Don't know. Anyway, and I would say if you're not quite sure after everything I just told you where to start with this band, I would highly recommend either of the two live albums because I think you get a nice selection of all the great tracks from the studio albums. So either one of them, to be quite frank, and I'm trying to see if there's a lot of crossover on these. I don't remember that there was, so I think if you get like both of these, you have a good chunk of some of the red hot stuff from throughout the catalog and blistering live versions of them, and lots more jamming, of course. So any way you slice it, this is a really good, really strong catalog. And for those of you who are new to the Derek Trucks Band, hope you enjoy it. If you are a fan already, you already know how great these albums are. So thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next week for another Ranking the Album show here on Sunday. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you real soon here. Take care. Bye-bye.